will murder you.
All right,
I will murder you. I will murder you. I will murder you. I will murder you.
Over about 5 to 10 years, I think she'll start understanding that she really messed up her life.
No matter what, it was going to be a tragic case.
The night air was tense. It felt electric, charged with something dark and sinister, lurking just beneath the surface of ordinary life. In the dimly lit courtyard of a suburban apartment complex, two women were about to face off in a confrontation that would change their lives forever. The sounds of fists meeting flesh echoed off the walls, and the sickening thud of one body slamming into another reverberated through the night. Ashley Bocanegra, a young mother, never saw it coming, never thought that her life would spiral into this nightmare. She had no idea that meeting with Daniel Gonzalez, a man she thought was on her side, would lead to her last breath. But now, as blood trickled down her face and the strength drained from her body, Ashley was beginning to realize that this was more than a fight. This was a battle for her life. On the other side of this deadly conflict was Antoinetta Stevens. Her world had been shattered just hours before when she learned of Daniel's betrayal, the affair he had been having with Ashley. Blinded by rage, she couldn't hold back anymore. The feelings of hurt and devastation that had been brewing beneath the surface exploded into violence that would end with one woman dead and another in handcuffs. This is a story of love, betrayal, and murder. Welcome to the twisted, heart-wrenching tale of Ashley Bocanegra. Welcome to our true crime series, where we dive deep into the most harrowing, shocking, and bone-chilling stories of real-life crime. If you're captivated by tales of deceit, revenge, and murder, you've come to the right place. Each episode pulls you deeper into the world of crime, exposing the raw, unsettling truths behind cases that have shocked communities around the world. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a moment of the gripping stories we uncover. Now, let's get back to the deadly events that unfolded on that fateful night. It started as a typical summer day in a quiet Atlanta suburb. Ashley Bocanegra, a 29-year-old mother, was living with her fiancé, Julian Reyes. Their relationship, however, was far from perfect. Though they shared a child together, the spark between them had faded. They were more co-parents than lovers, both just trying to make ends meet. Meanwhile, Daniel Gonzalez, Ashley's neighbor, was dealing with his own relationship struggles. He had a child with Antoinetta Stevens, a fiery and passionate woman who was deeply in love with him until she discovered his affair. For months, Daniel had been seeing Ashley in secret, hiding the relationship from both his fiancé and his family. But as with all secrets, this one couldn't stay hidden forever. Antoinetta found out in the most brutal way possible. Daniel's 17-year-old sister, Janine, let the secret slip. In an offhand remark that she probably didn't realize would lead to tragedy, Janine told Antoinetta about her brother's affair with Ashley. And that's when everything unraveled. Antoinetta was livid. Rage coursed through her veins as she confronted Daniel. She couldn't believe that the man she had built her life around, the father of her child, had been cheating on her, especially with someone so close. Ashley wasn't just any other woman, she was their neighbor. She was someone they saw often, someone who had become a part of their everyday lives. As the argument escalated, Antoinetta's anger turned into something darker. She couldn't let this betrayal go. She couldn't let Ashley get away with tearing apart her family. And so, she made a decision that would lead to devastating consequences. Using Daniel's phone, Antoinetta texted Ashley, pretending to be Daniel. In the message, she begged Ashley to meet him outside, saying he needed to talk. It was a trap, and Ashley walked right into it. The confrontation happened quickly. Ashley stepped outside her apartment, thinking she was going to meet Daniel. But instead, she was met with the full force of Antoinetta's fury. The two women exchanged words, but it wasn't long before those words turned into fists. Janine, ever the instigator, stood nearby, her phone out, recording every brutal second of the fight. The camera captured the moment Antoinetta lunged at Ashley, her face twisted with rage. Ashley, caught off guard and much smaller than Antoinetta, tried to defend herself, but she was no match for the fury of a woman scorned. "You'll never see him again," Antoinetta screamed as she landed punch after punch. Ashley, disoriented and bleeding, struggled to catch her breath. She tried to fight back, but it was clear from the beginning that she didn't stand a chance. Minutes passed, though it must have felt like hours to Ashley. Her vision blurred as she struggled to stay conscious. She could hear Janine laughing in the background, taunting her, egging Antoinetta on. But her body was shutting down. She was fading fast. By the time Daniel arrived, it was already too late. Ashley was lying on the ground, gasping for air, blood pooling around her. The fight was over, but the damage had been done. Daniel rushed to her side, panic etched on his face as he realized the severity of the situation. He helped Ashley into his car and drove as fast as he could to the nearest hospital, but it was no use. The injuries she had sustained in the beating were too severe. Her adrenal gland had ruptured from the impact, causing internal bleeding that would ultimately claim her life. At the hospital, doctors worked frantically to save her, but Ashley died just hours after the attack. The brutal assault had taken everything from her: her life, her future, her child's mother. Back at the apartment complex, police arrived to find Antoinetta still seething, pacing back and forth as officers questioned her. She claimed that Ashley had attacked her first, that she was just defending herself. But the video Janine had recorded told a different story. Detectives quickly pieced together the events of the night, and it didn't take long for them to uncover the truth. They found the text messages on Daniel's phone, the ones Antoinetta had sent, luring Ashley out of her apartment under false pretenses. They watched the video Janine had recorded, which showed Antoinetta repeatedly hitting Ashley while screaming, "I will murder you." The evidence was damning. Antoinetta was arrested on the spot, charged with felony murder, aggravated battery, and robbery. Janine, who had stood by and watched the beating unfold, was also arrested and charged as an accomplice. As the news of Ashley's death spread, the community was left in shock. How had things escalated so quickly? How had a simple affair turned into a murder? The trial was swift, and both Antoinetta and Janine eventually pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter. They were each sentenced to 20 years in prison, but the ripple effects of their actions would be felt for a lifetime. Julian Reyes, Ashley's fiancé, was devastated. He had lost the mother of his child, the woman he had shared a life with. Their child, too young to understand what had happened, would grow up without a mother, and Julian was left to pick up the pieces. Daniel Gonzalez, the man at the center of it all, was left to grapple with his own guilt. His actions had set off the chain of events that led to Ashley's death, and though he wasn't directly responsible for the crime, the weight of his betrayal was something he would carry with him for the rest of his life. Even in prison, Janine showed no remorse for her role in Ashley's death. She continued to stir up trouble, even posting videos on TikTok from behind bars, laughing about the events that had transpired. Her lack of empathy shocked even the investigators who had worked on the case. As for Antoinetta, she eventually expressed some regret for what had happened, though many wondered if it was genuine. In the end, it didn't matter. The damage had been done. A woman was dead, a family was torn apart, and 2 women were behind bars for a crime that never should have happened. The story of Ashley Bocanegra is a chilling reminder of how quickly jealousy and rage can spiral out of control, turning a moment of passion into a lifetime of regret. It's a tragic tale of betrayal, revenge, and the devastating consequences that follow when emotions are allowed to rule. But this is just one of many stories like it, stories where love turns deadly, and innocent lives are lost in the process. If you found this case gripping, there's so much more to explore. Subscribe to our true crime series for more shocking stories, each one more unbelievable than the last. From high-profile cases to little-known mysteries, we bring you the dark, twisted tales of real-life crimes. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and stay tuned for the next harrowing chapter.